it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. And today I wanted to share a video, an idea around using some handmade papers that I have, some bumpy papers, and a way that I sort of can use those. Now, I'm going to be doing some foiling today. This is some Deco foil. Now, this is very, very old. This is like the transfer gel. Now they have it in a little tub and that you purchase. So I will link the new version of the one on the right here that you can get. Things like smart glue that also dry tacky, like the Tombow Mono Green, that is going to be a dries tacky glue. They are all going to work for this process today. Now, of course, there are a whole lot of range of papers out there. These ones are handmade. They are full of fibers and they are gorgeous, and I want to use them. But I do find it difficult to ink blend or anything on them. It doesn't quite come across the same. And that's okay. Usually you can use these for backgrounds and all those sorts of good things. But I wanted to show you that you can actually still do foiling on them. Now, I could also use them and put, die cuts on top of them and things like that as well. That would be great. I just wanted to show you one way that I go about adding some interest to these very textured handmade papers. Now, I have lost my palette knife, just FYI, and so I'm using a hotel card, I think it is, or something along those lines, an old credit card as a scraper, and this is going to work perfectly. Honestly, there are also scrapers out there that you can buy, purpose made, but this one does the job. This is a gorgeous stencil from, I think it's called Mintay stencils. It's called Doilies, and it is gorgeous. Now, this here, along with the other transfer gel, comes out sort of cloudy looking, and it's going to look cloudy until it's dry. I'll show you in a little bit just what it looks like when it's actually dry. Then I put a little bit more of the transfer gel on, and I have the Simon Says Stamp Wonky Chevron stencil here. And for this one, I'm actually just going to do sort of the opposite corners. I just want a bit of texture in the background, not a full covered background, because I don't want to lose that gorgeous texture and the gorgeous paper. I want someone to be able to feel the paper in the background, essentially, because it's lovely, it's handmade. So I will put these to the side and let them dry. Now, I've come back about half an hour later, and this is what they're looking like. I can see a wee cloudy patch in here, and this is not quite dry, and this one here is pretty good. They are tacky to touch. They are sort of sticky feeling to touch. And I'm going to be using some of the Deco foil. I have had this for absolutely years, and there are lots of amazing, gorgeous colours and things out there. This is different to hot foiling. We are not hot foiling. So if you have hot foil, then that is not what we are doing here. I have not gone down that route at the moment because I just don't have space for all the beautiful machines and extra things and the better press and all those lovely things. So yes, space and budget usually, dictates which things I do, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But anyhow, all I need to do with this is just sort of wave my finger over top of it, and actually, it comes off beautifully. I wasn't sure if I needed to put this back down. I could, but actually I got a pretty good result. It foiled beautifully. There's not really any spots that missed, and I have gone with like a holographic silver. Now, of course, you could have gone red or green or blue or, rainbow or all the sorts of things. Now, this one here is actually going to be an opal, I think it is. So it's actually somewhat, not transparent, but, less there. But when you move these in the light, it is very, very effective. So I don't want to take away from these gorgeous papers, as I said. I don't think I could die cut from them. They're very fibrous papers, and I didn't want to try because I simply didn't want to ruin them. So this is how I have chosen to turn these ones into cards. I have another few that I just keep going with different colors of foil, but you can see that this one here foiled beautifully. I love that we've still got the true paper, textured paper there that we can see as well. Now I'm going to pop this into create some cards, and with this one here I kind of want to go you know, just some bits and bobs on top. I really had some bits on my desk that I wanted to use up, so that's what I'm going to do. These are beautiful. They catch the sunlight. They, you know, that's a really gorgeous element to add to a card, is that shiny element, something that catches your eye, that creates movement within the card. So that is one thing that I look for. Texture is another, and we have that with the fibrous handmade papers. We also have it now with a little bit of that transfer gel. That is a little bit as well. I'm going to put this on a craft card base. That is the Lawn Fawn craft cardstock that I use. I have this doily here that came with some packaging, but I feel like that would be quite nice on the side. I just want to use a little bit of it. I don't want to, again, cover too much of the background, and I also don't want to cover up all of the foiling that we have done, but I love the this little element. As I said, this is kind of like a use what's on your desk situation. Now for the next one, I am actually going to take a little book page and I'm going to rip some of this out. I wanted a little piece and I wasn't quite sure how big I wanted that to be. So I started off bigger, of course, than what I actually need. And I actually think this size could have been perfect behind it. I just was trying not to have it cover up quite so much of the background. So I cut it down just a little bit and that will be a nice little layering piece that we can pop behind there. And then with that leftover piece there, I want to create a little sentiment, but I'm going to make it sort of look like a ticket maybe. Just very basic, not too many details. So I cut out a rough rectangle, give or take, with some long bladed scissors. These are the Holtz Recoil scissors, which I really do like, the long bladed ones. And then I have my Gina stamp set here. This one is gorgeous. The butterflies on this are gorgeous, but for this one I'm actually not going to use them. I'm just going to use the couple of little sentiments that say hello friend, and I really think that that's pretty generic. It's more than hello, but it's, you know, it's just a nice wee card to give with an extra little gift. It can be quite a good little pick-me-up card to go with a little pick-me-up parcel. So I have stamped this in some VersaFine Onyx black ink. Then I've taken the other little scrap. I'm just putting it on the background. I'm taking a little brush and going around it in a little bit of vintage photo just to colour the edges ever so slightly. But as I said, I want to make it almost ticket-like, just not quite so rectangle plain piece of paper. And so you may well have a die that does this. There are plenty of beautiful dies out there that create tickets, but for me, I'm going super basic, but I'm going to use my little, I think this is a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, I can't remember, paper punch, and I'm just going to put the very corner. Now I actually can use the inside lines. I know it looks wonky here on camera when you look, but when I'm looking down to this from my angle, I can line it up so that they are all the same size on the little indicators inside the punch, if that makes sense. So I can just snip off each one of the corners, and then I'm actually going to just add a little bit more brown to the corners because I snipped them, and then that creates, you know, a cute little ticket shape. You could also do some faux stitching around the edges. That would help it stand out as well, but I'm pretty happy, just a simple, easy little homemade sentiment. And then it's really just a case of putting all of these together. But whilst I had this here on my desk, because I quite like keeping these on my desk, it reminds me to use them. This is the postage stamp washi tape from 49er Market. Now this is the vintage artistry nature study one, but I believe they do like the postage stamp washi tape with every collection that they release. They release one of these. So I will link a few of these down below. These are very addictive. I do warn you. I have created backgrounds with these if you've watched some of my previous videos, but they're also just a nice wee element to pop on there too. And that is obviously in a stamp form, and you can cut them apart or you can tear them apart, either. So yeah, just really simple elements that we are going to put together to make a gorgeous eye-catching card. And this one I have popped in with a little gift for a friend, and the doily is on there. I actually have a little too much, so I'm going to turn this over and cut off the excess amount of the doily. I just wanted a little peek of it there. I don't want it to take over anything in particular. Pop everything down pretty flat. This is a pretty flat card since it's going to go through the mail. But this is just one of those other ideas that is really easy to create on some very textured papers. So let me know in the comment section down below what you use those handmade, fibrous, really textured papers. How do you use them up in your paper crafting or card making? But other than that, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you give this a thumbs up and check out some of my other videos. I have many of them, so I would love to see you there as well. But other than that, thank you for being here and watching this one right through to the end. And there are some more videos at the end of this one that I think you might like too. See you then.